Hi, and welcome to Categorizations, Invisibility Settings, and Pay-Per-Views. Oh my. My name is Rachel Krull. I am a design manager with Sedgwick Business Interiors in upstate New York, and I have been using CET for 6 going on 7 years. I'm going to start off by sharing a little bit about myself. We are currently in the middle of football season, and I'm a football mom. So in the bottom left-hand corner, I've included a picture of what my life looks like pretty much every weekend. In between football, my husband and I have managed to squeeze in some concerts and festivals this summer. So I have a picture of one that we just got back from in Ocean City, Maryland. My family really loves doing puzzles in the spare time that we don't really have. So in the top left corner is what my dining room table looks like at all times. And then I also have 2 dogs, a German short-haired pointer named Jules and a one-eyed Australian cattle dog named Indy. Looking at our roadmap for today, starting off with categorizations, what they are, where to find them, and how to use them. We will be following the same format for visibility settings. Pay-per-views, what they are and how to use them. And at the end, we will discuss some troubleshooting you might encounter with pay-per-views. Categorizations. What are categorizations? Categorizations are the foundation of all visibility settings within CET. Every component in CET automatically comes in on a predetermined category. Products as well as generic components, text, dimensions, arrows, things like that will all come with a category assigned to them. Manufacturers' products are categorized on shared categories so that all similar components can be turned on and off together. It used to be in CET that manufacturers could make their own categories that came in with their symbols. Configura rather has taken this and simplified it and made it so that there's predetermined categories that each manufacturer has to adhere to or abide by. Makes it a lot easier for the user in the long run when we have to manipulate these and edit these categories. There are 3 options for finding categorizations. I will review them and then pop over into CET and demo it for you. The first option is going to be the categorization dialog box. It can be accessed through the Tools drop-down menu at the top left of your screen. Once you click the categorization option, this dialog box will pop up. You will see that after you select the item you want to know the category of, you will see these light gray check marks. If you click the plus button next to those, you will get these subcategories. Within there, you will see a black check mark with a blue text next to it. This is representative of what category a specific item or the selected item is going to be on. Going to Tools, Categorization. Going to zoom in on the object I would like to select. You'll see that I have this check mark that just popped up. And I'm going to go in here and open up these subcategories. And it shows that this poof is on the guest seating symbol and lounge seating symbol category. Your second option for finding categorizations is going to be using the detailed tooltip button. This button appears in the top right of your screen. You will click the button, hover over the item you want to know the category of, and this dialog will pop up, giving you a bunch of information, including the category the item is on. Clicking on Enable Detailed Tooltips, hovering over our item, and you'll see that it says Category, Seating, Guest Seating Symbols, and Seating, Lounge Seating Symbols. Our last option is going to be using the Examiner tool. This has a couple steps to it. So we're going to access the Examiner tool in the top left, that Tools drop down, then clicking Examiner, or there is a quick key hitting Shift-I that'll make this pop up. When your Examiner box comes open, you're going to hit Examine and hover over the item you want to know the category of. If items are layered, and you will see this when I open CET, it will give you an option to pick which item you want. It'll be highlighted in orange, so it's very clear what you're selecting. And then once it's selected in this dialog box over here, it'll show you the categories that an item is on. Selecting tools, examiner, examine, hovering over the item. See here, it's giving me those two different options. I'm going to select this part number right here. And it is showing me categories, seating, guest seating symbols, seating, lounge seating symbol. Now that you know how to find an item's categorization, I'm going to show you how to change a symbol's categorization. Option 1 is opening the categorization dialog. You're going to select the symbol you want to change the category of. You're going to uncheck all categories associated with the symbol you wish to modify. And then you're going to navigate to your new category you want the symbol to appear on and select the corresponding boxes. So I'm going to start by selecting the item, going to Tools, Categorizations, opening up the sub-seating categories, deselecting the categories it's pre-existing on. We're going to go into Healthcare and hit Symbols. And now this lives on the Healthcare symbol category. Option 2 for how to change a symbol's category is going to be utilizing these buttons to the right of the categorization dialog. So we're going to open the categorization dialog again, select the category you want your object to be on, select the replace button right here, hover over the object you want to change the category of, and click it. In this example, we're going to change our poof to a task seating / executive seating category. So I'm going to select symbol under the task seating executive seating category and hit replace. Hover over it. You'll see we have this blue arrow. I'm just going to click it. And you'll see now all the other categories have been removed. And I am just left with this task executive category selected. Moving on to why change a symbol's categorization. A common example of changing categories is typically for dimensions. By default, dimensions come in on a singular category. At our dealership, we have a toolkit that is incorporated into our template file. In there, I have 3 dimension types that I will demo how we use those later. But each one of these dimensions are on their own category. A custom category at that is specific to our dealership and the needs of our designers. With that, we'll go into how to make a custom category. So starting again by opening the categorization dialog, if you click this plus button at the top, it'll prompt you to enter a new category name. You can enter the new category name and hit OK, and it'll pop up in with the rest of your categories. Tools, categorization, hit this plus button. Hit OK. From there, you can add subcategories, as many as you would like, and they will appear here in your category dialog. Next, we're going to go over the additional tools or buttons that are located on the right of that dialog. I've written them all out here in the presentation to reference later, but I will walk you through what each of these do. We're going to start out with this apply button. So if I want to apply this new category that I created to our demo poof that we have been using, I'm going to select the new category, hit apply, hover over the poof, and click it. Now, if you look, it maintained the original category that we had it assigned to, that task executive seating, but it added this new category and subcategory we created. So it doesn't remove what has previously been assigned to it, but it just adds this to it. If I wish to remove that category, I can go back, select it, hit the remove button, hover over it. And now you will see when I click on it, that new category and subcategory have been removed, but the original task executive category has been retained. The replace tool, we already went over. Last will be this reset. If everything has gone awry and you just want to reset and start over, you hit the reset button, hover over the item, and now when I click on it, those original categories and subcategories of guest seating and lounge seating have been converted back. You also have this option to hit the expand button, which will expand all your categories and subcategories. How to use categorizations. Categorizations can be used in conjunction with visibility settings to customize and create drawing standards for your dealership. Custom categories can be used to assist in making customer-facing documents as well as installation drawings. So you can incorporate these categorizations into pre-made paper view templates, and we will discuss that later on. It'll help ultimately make your lives a lot easier. So integrating them into your template files and your paper views, and using them to create custom view modes and view sets, which we're going to go over in our next section. So a couple ideas or things to maybe think about is you can make categorizations that are dealer specific. The examples that I have been showing are from our toolkit. So it shows our building, electrical, general, installation, things like that we made for us internally. But other things you could, or items you can consider adding custom categorizations for, would be client-specific items or areas of focus. I'll use the example of healthcare. If there are healthcare-specific symbols or items that you are using on repeat and you want to incorporate that as a custom categorization so that they work within your visibility settings and things like that, just some things to keep in mind. Our next section is going to be visibility settings. So what are visibility settings? Visibility settings are groupings of categories, essentially, that are used to filter information on and off and create custom view modes and custom view sets. Visibility settings can be used to control the visibility of components in CET. This is going to be in both your drawing viewports and in your paper views. There are standard view modes and view sets that come preloaded into CET. Going over a view mode versus a view set. So view modes. A view mode is a collection of categories. Default view modes are created by manufacturers to suit the basic needs of those specifying the product. View mode buttons are located at the bottom of your screen in your drawing view. If you click on the different view modes at the bottom of your screen, what's visible in your 2D and 3D viewport will change based on what that view mode is meant to show. The set of view modes you see at the bottom of your screen is going to be dependent on the manufacturer and what they have them preset up as. So a view set. Along the bottom of the screen, in the last example, I had just this electric option highlighted because that was a specific view mode. A collection of view modes at the bottom of the screen constitutes a view set. Again, the default behavior or these view sets are going to change by manufacturer and the extension that you have open. When you come into CET, if you look down at the bottom here, you will see the preset view set that Configura has. So if I click on architectural, for example, it is going to clear out all of the furniture in my drawing and just show the architectural components that I drew in. If I click on CAD, it is going to only show components that are on a CAD category. If you go into tags, it'll show things that are tagged. And these sets are going to change depending on the manufacturer you have. So this one, for example, gives you the option for electrical. You can see the interior of the panels. This one gives you an option to just see panel information. You get the idea. So how do you find your view modes? Option 1 is access view modes through the Edit View Set dialog at the bottom of your screen. So you will notice it had these 3 dots to the far right. If you click on them, it'll give you this option to edit, and then this dialog will come up, giving you the option to create a custom view mode. Another option, and the option that we're going to be using today, is going to be option 2, which is going to be accessed through pay-per-view. So when we are in pay-per-view in CET, if you click on a 2D viewport and select visibility, it is going to bring up your visibility settings. Up top is going to be visibility settings that are predetermined or pre-made and come loaded in. And this part on the bottom here is going to be custom view modes that I have created. How to create custom view modes. So once we are in our pay-per-view and we open up that visibility setting box, there's going to be an option for that plus button again. If you click the plus button, it'll bring you over to this menu and it'll give you the option to rename your new view mode. And then from there, you can click on all the categorizations that you want to have shown in that view mode. When you're all done, if you hit save at the bottom, it'll save it and then it will pop up within all of your custom view modes that you have here. Something to keep in mind when you're creating your custom visibility settings is while you are selecting those categories and turning them on and off, it will actually show you or give you a preview of it in your 2D viewport. I'm going to start with a clean template that I pulled in, and I'm going to pull in a 2D view clip, select my scale, and then I'm going to hover over this set of workstations. As you can see now in this viewport, anything that was visible in my model space is going to show on here, all of my different dimension types and symbols. Everything currently is showing in color. Typically, I do my drawings in black and white, so I'm going to apply this black and white filter. And then I'm going to click on my 2D viewport, select visibility, and hit this plus button. I'm going to enter my new view mode name. And then I'm going to deselect this visible in normal view mode so I can start fresh, only showing the items that I would like to have seen. So we're going to start with panels. I can just click the panels button and it'll turn on all panel items. This is going to include all of the panel tagging and text. If I did not want that panel text to go, I could open all the subcategories and then just select symbols. And only the symbols for the panels will show up. From there, if I wanted to go down to seating, I could select seating and the symbol for task seating, and my task chairs will then show. want to show my height adjustable tables. I'm going to go into tables. I believe, yep, this was the right one. Can do the same thing with storage. And as you see, any categories that I am turning on in this visibility setting is going to appear as a preview in my 2D viewport. When I'm all done, I can hit save. And my new view mode will show over here. Now, if I wanted to go to a different page or start over, I could put a new 2D viewport in, go to a different area, and as long as items that are on those categories are showing in that viewport, I should be able to use this visibility setting and have it show those symbols. How to edit a custom view mode. Once you have created a custom view mode, you can go back and edit it anytime by clicking on the view mode you wish to edit and then selecting this pencil and paper icon. Once you select that, it'll reopen up your view mode options where you can then click more categorizations on and off. Please keep in mind this is a permanent function. So once you do that and select save at the end, it'll save over the original settings you had for that view mode. So unless you know what you did, you're not able to go back and change it. In addition to editing view modes, which can only be done with custom view modes, you can also clone view modes. And this action can be done with the preloaded CET view modes up top here, as well as your custom view modes that you've made. You're going to click this clone tool and it'll pop up the same box that your editing or custom view mode options did previously, where you're going to be able to select any of the categories you want to turn on and off. But what it's going to do is take a copy of a pre-existing view mode, and instead of saving over it, it'll save a copy of it. So a good idea would be if you were using one of these pre-existing ones up top, you could clone it if most of the settings on there were what you wanted it to be, and then use that as a base to create a custom visibility setting. This is nice because it doesn't save over your original one. You still have that one to use, but it will keep all those attributes. How to load custom view modes. You can load custom view modes by going to the custom view mode section of your visibility settings and clicking this folder icon. From there, anywhere that you have your custom view mode saved, you can navigate to where that is and select the view mode you wish to import. So over in the custom view mode section, we're going to hit this icon, and then we're going to navigate to wherever our view modes are saved, select the one that we wish to import, and then click open. Now let's go over how to use view modes in CET. You can use view modes to control the visibility of components in CET, such as products, text, dimensions, print frames, and arrows. This works for both your viewports, your drawing viewports, and in your paper view. A common example of using visibility settings is incorporating them into 2D viewports when creating template files for paper view. This is really great for creating templates for installation drawings. This example that I'm showing is a snip from the drawing that we've been working in. You can see that I have a lot of notes, a bunch of dimensions in different colors. These are all items that I had pulled out of that toolbox I showed at the beginning of this presentation. Each one of these are tied to a custom category that are specific to our dealership and relate back to items that we want to show on installation drawings or customer-facing documents, depending on what we are working on. These examples here are all that same screenshot that I just showed you, but in paper view using our different visibility settings, depending on what we're trying to show. So in this first one, I have all of my components labeled. So it's going to show my table sizes. It's going to have my dimensions and some notes that I had pulled in. This is going to have all of my tagging on. So my chair, my panel information, as well as my desk and storage. This option is just showing anything that is related to or tied to building electrical. In this example, we're showing where a junction box would be on the wall. This one is showing just my components with no tagging on them at all with my dimensions. This one is used for an overall floor plan. I will show an example of that in a little bit. And then we have our two different electrical options. One is systems specific and one is systems and building electrical altogether. The only one that is not part of that snip that I previously showed is this elevations one. Here I'm going to demo how all of those work together. So when we open up a new drawing, we have a template file that comes in, and this is our toolbox. When I click on items in the toolbox, you can see that they are on custom categorizations. So this one down here is going to be on a installation categorization. These ones are going to be on building electrical categorizations, and so on. When I use these items, I copy and paste them over into my drawing. And those are all the notes that you see here. That snip that we were just referring to is right here, and you'll see I have all of my notes. When I then go into my paper view, I'm going to hover this over. When I come down here to my custom visibility settings, you see I can click on them and it'll start filtering that information on and off, like I showed in the example in the presentation. So when you're using these visibility settings in conjunction with your 2D viewports and paper view, it makes it really easy to set up drawing templates and prints. The last section that we're going to go over is paper views. Starting off with, what is a paper view? Paper views are where you can easily print an entire drawing or parts of it and set the layout of the page. You can choose to do the design freeform or import a predefined title block. The paper view is accessed from the bottom right corner of your screen, over here. You can import pre-made paper views once you're in that paper space. In the bottom left-hand corner, there is this load icon. You navigate to where on your computer you have that saved, and then you can open it up. Once you import a new one, it'll appear at the bottom of your screen. So we're going to start by going to our paper view, bottom right-hand corner. Open that up. Down at the bottom left, we're going to load paper from a file. We have our standard title blocks, which are blank as shown here in various sizes, or we have ones that we have created for installation drawings. There's a whole bunch of them right here. And if I click on, we'll do workstations. This is what a typical installation template for our workstations would look like. Comes in and you're going to have all of these viewports. So here's an example of what is in or what is included in those templates that I just pulled in. A section is going to be what is actually going to print out on a piece of paper on a PDF. So I have all of those view clips that we were just discussing. And inside each one of these, I have pre-selected a visibility setting. I have selected that filter if it's going to be in black and white or color, and I have set the scale. See, that's showing in the bottom right-hand corner. Additionally, I have other label items that I can pull into this drawing if needed. These in this area will not print. Only things shown on your white paper space will print to a PDF. This example that I'm showing here is an expanded version of what we were just looking at with all of the information filled in. You are not just limited to 2D view clips, but you can also include any type of text, any type of shapes, lines, notations, and those can all be preloaded onto your template files. Here are some examples of pre-made paper views we have created specifically for installation drawings. We have ones that are an overall floor plan highlighting different areas of work. This is the visibility setting that has no tagging on it that we talked about earlier. Then I have one for office typicals with the actual room that they will be in, a core and electrical plan, and then two different options for ways to show workstations. One, just a close-up of workstations, and one, a more expanded view with a location key and then the workstation typical down below. Let's take a look at how this whole process would work start to finish. So I'm going to start by importing one of my template files. Once that is open, I'm going to start by double-clicking on one of my viewports and hovering over what it is I want to show. So in this example, we're going to show our elevations. See that the scale is a little bit small. So if I want to, I can go in here and adjust the scale and then recenter my elevations. Can now go over here and double click over to my workstations, hover over it, and you will see this is going to show my workstations with all of its part tagging and all of my dimensions. If I double click over here, do the same thing, bring it over to my pack of workstations. This is going to filter off all of the tables and chairs, but it's going to show all of my panel information and my electrical along with my elevation tags that coordinate over here. We also have a pre-made electrical tag that's just standard issue for our everyday systems furniture. So I have a spot for that that'll automatically put the key in. And then if we have any type of renderings we want to include, we can do that over here. And essentially, aside from having to fill out some information, we have a full installation drawing for this 8-pack of workstations. Let's move on to troubleshooting. I have 3 troubleshooting sections included here. I have turning symbols on and off in 2D viewports. If a symbol is not showing in color, how to remedy that. And then if a symbol is just not showing in your 2D viewport. Let's start with turning symbols off in a 2D viewport. Sometimes you have a visibility setting applied to a viewport, and for the most part, it is correct, but you might want to filter something off. An example I use is I really am bothered by the triangles that automatically show with CET architecture. So if I click on that viewport, go to my visibility settings, I have this option up here for filter. When I select the filter option, it's going to show all the categories that are currently visible within this viewport. And what I can then do is navigate to CET, architectural, and click this button to turn it off. And you will see as I click it, those triangles will appear and disappear. Now, the nice thing about this filter is it is only going to do it for this viewport. So if I were to use this visibility setting that I have selected somewhere else, that filter is not going to apply. This is specific to your viewport. It's nice because you don't have to clone and make a completely new viewport if there's just a couple things that you want to turn off. The only thing you cannot do with filters is turn things on that are not currently showing. Now let's look at troubleshooting items that are not appearing in your viewport. So in this example, I know that out in my model space around this area, there is a set of whiteboards that is currently not showing in my 2D viewport. So there are a couple things I want to do to troubleshoot this. First is going to be clicking on my viewport, going into my visibility settings, and making sure that nothing is currently filtered off. You see right here, nothing is currently filtered off. So once I figured that out, I'm going to go and see what category that marker board is on. So I'm going to use our detailed tooltips tool, select that, hover over, and see that it is under no category. Looks like it's currently not assigned to a category. So from there, I'm going to select the item Go to Tools, Categorization, and I'm going to find a category that I think that this should live on. I think that we could put it under marker board and tack board, under accessories extensions. So once I do that, if I go over it with that detailed tooltips, it's going to say that it's under those marker board, tack board categories. So we go back over to pay-per-view and it's still not showing. The next thing I'm going to do is reopen my visibility settings and I'm going to edit my visibility setting to see if that option is filtered on, and it looks like it is not. So if I go up here to accessories, go to my drop down, I don't see that that marker board tack board option is selected. So I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to hit save. But you'll notice it is still not showing. So sometimes you have to hit F5 and refresh your drawing when you make these type of changes so that it will show again. Give it just a couple minutes, a couple seconds rather. And you'll see now that that is refreshed, our marker board is now visible. My last troubleshooting tip is going to be making items or symbols show in color that are not currently showing in color. So for our installation drawings, we like to have our power entry, which are marked with these stars, show in red. Now, our manufacturer automatically has the power shown in the panel as green. That is not something that I applied. What I am going to change, though, is the color of these stars. So you'll see that I already have this black and white filter applied, and I want everything to show in black and white, again, with the exception of these stars representing our power entry. So I'm going to start by clicking on the viewport, come up to the green box, and in this top drop down, I'm going to select black and white. From there, I will hit the filter button and I will go over here and select the category that I know those stars are on. So in this instance, it's going to be SBI Systems Electrical, and I'm going to turn that on. And you will see now that my stars are showing as red. I could also do this with my dimensions if I wanted to, and have those show in that blue color. And with that, we are at the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for attending. Again, my name is Rachel Krull. The contact information is on the screen. Please reach out. I would love to hear from you. And make sure to scan the QR code to get your CEU.